Stirling Talks with Wilson on Stirling Community Radio.
This is Stirling Talks on Stirling Community Radio, and we've had quite a few people on the show, but we've never had anyone quite as known worldwide as this. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people know him as Forrest Gump. Hello, can I call you Forrest or no?
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
You're not Forrest Gump, but some people call you Forrest Gump.
Oh, that came about because...
You weren't expecting me to intro like this, were you? Yeah.
Just like Forrest went for a jog out of his house and it ended up running across America to reach the ocean, turn back again and run all the way back. I did that on a sailing trip once. I just kind of disappeared and kept sailing and sailing and sailing. And all the boat club members back home decided, they used to each day go down and say, where is he this time? Right. Oh, he's here, or he's there, or he's over. And that's where the name Forrest Gump popped up. And I'm proud of that.
Well, you should be, because you told me that story. Who exactly are you for the people that don't know you as Forrest Gump?
My name is Murdoch McGregor. I live in the town of Alloa in central Scotland. I'm now coming up for 87 years old. I was born in the town and educated in the town, married in the town.
Yeah. And, but you didn't stay in the town. We are chatting here because a couple of years ago, you, like Forrest Gump, went out on a little bit of an adventure. You sailed all the way around the United Kingdom.
Yes, well, that's one of the yachting challenges. I sail around the entire UK, United Kingdom, and I always wanted to do this. I did, and I didn't know there was such a thing as a Sailor of the Year award, right. And I had no idea that it would reach down to recreational sailors like me. I thought it was always for Atlantic sailors. Or
the Olympics or something.
Yes, it's something like that. So anyway, when I completed it, I got a letter from the British Yachting Association saying they had shortlisted me for Sailor of the Year UK, and they gave the list of candidates who were in there, and they were all world beaters.
Wow.
And Murdoch McGregor.
You're on that list?
So I wrote back and told them, I says, I'm totally flattered. I says, I've got my gold medal just by being on that list. Lo and behold, we went down there, and for whatever reason, this was to the highly varnished and gold-gilded Thames Yacht Club in London, highly posh.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, so all the British yachting fraternity were there, and the candidates were given an introduction and a little spiel about what they had done, and lo and behold, and the winner is...
You?
Murdoch McGregor.
You couldn't believe it, could you?
Never in 100 years. And one of my all-time heroes, I didn't know he was in the audience until he rose after me to get a Lifetime Achievement Award. And he came and congratulated me. And honestly, I was floating on air, couldn't believe it. That all I had done was went for a sail. I must tell you about the sail.
Well, I want people to know this part of the story. You were not a lifelong sailor, were you? You got started doing this later in life.
I started at the age of 72.
72. What made you want to take up sailing? Most people 72, they're like, yeah, I'm good, I'm just going to relax now. But you took up this amazing new hobby at 72.
Well, I did have a experience of boats in my later youth and early manhood. But it was all, I was a skipper or anything like that. But so anyway, later in life, when I had more time to think about things, I says, I've still that sailing thing to fulfill. Let's do it now. So I did it at 72. That's when I started.
Yeah.
So A year later, I'd only been sailing a year when I did that long Forrest Gump sail.
Wow. That's unbelievable. And so this was quite a few years ago, and you this wasn't like Forrest Gump where he just kind of kept going. You plotted and planned, and you were fairly still a year in, but how do you plan for something like that? Because you've got so many variables, the weather and all of those things. How do you plan for something like that?
I don't plan ahead too much. I do my homework ahead, and I know every inch. Every ounce that's needed, I know. But I don't make a heavy set in concrete plans because you make a plan to leave at 7 a.m. on the flood tide, and blow me, it's blowing a gale that day, and it blows for 3 days, so you can't go. So I do it one day at a time.
Yeah, that's a good way. Anytime you've got a big thing like this, a big adventure, break it down to little bits that are easy to do.
That's the way you've got it, Skipper.
Wow, I love this. And the name of the boat you did this was the Artemis, right?
Artemis. Artemis was a Greek goddess of forest and hills and protector of girls, I believe. And so Artemis was more than just a boat to me. She was my brother, if you like. Well, my sister. She has to be my sister. Both are used. So Artemis was. Now she was a hunter, 23 feet, and small for a journey that I was taking on. A journey bigger than that, but Artemis got me around there. Honestly, she was a boat I could totally rely on. I just pointed her into the storm,
and there you go.
And she took me out the other side.
Now, on this, there had to be a couple of days that were a bit more challenging than others. Was there a certain day that you were like, "Oof, this might not have been a great idea"?
Yeah, there was one day, because a lot of the harbours in Scotland, particularly, and in England, are tidal. So it means that a lot of times when the tide is out, the harbour's dry and there can be no entry until the tide rises a little. So sometimes I got caught out this day, and because there was no water going to be in there for 5 hours, I was stuck out there in a storm. I can't do it.
You had nowhere to go.
No, but Artemis kept me. I knew she would keep me safe. So we sat and bobbed. And we've had many storms over the years, and she always brings me out the other side.
I love that.
Well,
that's how a skipper's supposed to look at his lovely lady boat. So that's amazing. So you did this, and you raised quite a bit of money for charity for something that was special to you, right? What was that?
It was my brother. My brother and I grew up rather. Well, we didn't have much money in these days. Brought up, and we lived the normal childhood, and we played, and he played a bit of football and this and that. But at the age of 16, we noticed a downturn in him, and he was developing mental health problems, and they were to last him for the rest of his life. So he did die about 2 years before my sail. So I was doing this sail in memory of him, and also to make people more conscious of the problems of mental health. So I did. So I always had that behind me to keep me going.
It was when you were coming up those years ago, mental health wasn't really discussed a lot the way it is now. I know that you probably, with your personal experience, it's a good thing to talk about mental health. They used to not do that.
It was a thing that people will say it would be one of the common mental diseases just now, they would be called loonies. It was a cruel, cruel world. And
it's good that that's
it
changed.
wasn't good for the person.
Yeah.
And also, when he worked, but sometimes it was difficult. And when he was having a difficult day, he explained why he was feeling that way. And they said, "You'll just need to get on with it. Get a grip. You'll just need to go." They say the complainant was saying, "Well, we all have that bad days. Yeah, but they don't all have black holes. They don't have black holes that you don't get out of easily." So my brother was my hero.
Oh, wow.
I had to see the sun coming up every day when I was at sea. I used to get up. Sometimes the sun rose at 3:30 in the morning, but I got up to see that popping up. Well, especially when that was only if I had a horizon of the sea only, with no trees in the road or mountains in the road, and it just popped up like a golden ball out of the horizon of that distance away. And I used to say, "Well, I'm blessed with another day." And I used to get a kick out of the sunrise. But also another thing, when I was sailing, maybe in midday and that, I'd look up and I was sailing towards the sun. And then that reminded me that we are all sailing towards the sun. Because each year, our planet, the Earth, circumnavigates the sun. And it goes round, strangely enough, in 365 days. So we're all, everybody that's listening to this radio station just now, you're heading for the sun.
Yes, you are. Well, it has been such a joy to chat with you and to hear some of this story. Now, we are usually, I would end there, but we are a radio station. I don't want to put you on the spot here. But we do play a lot of music here, music all over the place, Stirling Community Radio. What was the first piece of music that you remember bringing home?
That's easy.
Yeah, all right.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Rock Around the Clock by Bill Haley.
Oh, wow. Obviously, that left an impression. That's a classic one right there. You brought that home.
Yeah, that was my first one.
Wow, what a great song.
I later seen Bill Haley in Glasgow. Yes.
What was that like, seeing him in person?
Oh, he blew the roof off the place.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Well, I'm coming up for 87, which is only 3 years short of 90.
Yeah.
But I ain't going to stop yet.
No, you ain't stopping. How does that song get going again? I don't remember. Bill Haley in the comments, how does it go?
Put your glad rags on and join me, hun. We're going to have some fun when the clock strikes one. We're going to rock around the clock tonight. We're going to rock the...
This is Stirling Community Radio.
Signing off.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock.